excited to be hopping on with you, babe, because like we're so aligned on this topic, and what an amazing week to be doing this, because from a collective energy standpoint and astrological standpoint, like Pluto has just on the 19th moved into Aquarius until 2044. And so what does this
I've been singing that all week. I've been singing that all week. I'm like, we're finally here.
We're finally here. So this is what a lot of us, like people in the light worker community and people that have already been on a conscious manifesting journey, have been kind of understanding is going to be a big thing, right? Because we're going to be seeing a mass awakening on the planet. People are going to be awakening to their higher truths, to their pure potentiality, like their multidimensionality, the fact that we are, because obviously Aquarius, the mind, consciousness, that's what we're going to talk about today, right, Laura?
Absolutely.
It's all about that.
I would say it's a 5D level live today.
It's a 5D level. At 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D,
and
whatever.
beyond. Exactly. Like we're done playing around in the 3D. We did what we had to do to get here, and now we're finally here. And now we can move into that creative, that broadening and expanding of the mind, the unity consciousness, the weaving of the fabrics together, right? So,
and I love, like, you and I are aligned on this point so well. And even though we do tackle it from different places, because I'm very like love and relationship focused. So anyone that does join from my profile, guys, like, you and anyone that doesn't join me on YouTube wouldn't know that I actually talk a lot about what Laura talks about, but more so focused on love and relationships. But the fact of the matter is that we are the conscious creators of our reality, and actually everything on the outside is starting from within us. And I think that what we're going to be seeing from now on, and what Laura and I are going to talk about today, is actually that we are limitless. And we have always had the power through consciousness, which is awareness, which is focus, and that focus is our superpower. But what we're going to be seeing is people that were not previously understanding this, is that awareness, which we are completely in control of, and our focus is something that we have been a lot of people have been giving away to outside sources, and that you can at any point in time shift your awareness and your focus to experience something different. And I reposted a video on my story before this live that I love, that you posted, which was about, parallel realities, multidimensionality, right? And that everything can start with a shift in focus, a shift in awareness, because in the end of the day, what we are waking up, right? Okay, is the fact that we're just consciousness, meaning that everything starts with awareness. Am I right? Okay.
you are right. It is. I think a lot of people are really starting to grasp the fact that our consciousness is being projected to this reality, and this is an experience, and it's a lot. I think, like you said, with the moving into Age Aquarius, and with everything that has gone down in the 3D the past several weeks, months, years, we're seeing waves and waves of people waking up now.
Right.
And at first, it's like, whoa, right? And you talk a lot about relationships and things with your content, which I love. I'm actually on a twin flame journey, finally, to my 40s. It's fine. But, I feel that my purpose is to bridge the gap between science, spirituality, and true history, right? And I'm very much about helping people who are getting on that awakening journey, because when I had my awakening, I didn't have anyone there. I didn't have anyone around me that was awake, and it's really difficult. And it took finding my community and seeking out mentors to really get to a place where I was like, oh my God, this is what's happening. Now I understand, right? So shameless book plug real quick, because I have my author copy here.
Yeah.
It's finally here. This was a journey that I've been on for 2 years, wanting to create something that could help people who were just like me, who, when they had that awakening, and I mean, I had a bam awakening. It was like 0 to 100 kind of experience, right? Yes, very crazy. Yeah. And I wanted to create something that people could really utilize and learn, what is going on? How do I do shadow work? What is meditating? What are the laws of our nature and our universe? What is consciousness? What is ascension, you know? And I tie it all together, and it ends with a practical plan to literally blueprint out your dream life and what you're meant to be and this experience you're meant to have and to get the most out of it. So
well, I wish that I'd had this when I went through my awakening, because I felt exactly like you know, and so that happened several years ago. I had a full-blown spiritual awakening in 2018, and it was wild. And I would say that my perspectives have changed a lot since then, but I did have to go on that ride and that journey and the shadow work and whatnot. And I did feel very isolated and alone, had no idea how to navigate it other than through my guides and everything. And so, like, for sure, this is so beneficial for people. I also like what you said earlier about how you like to marry and, you know, obviously, the spiritual with the science and whatnot, and that, you know, and I certainly like to do that too. So I think that the idea, and this is what we're moving into now with this age of Aquarius, is people are going to start understanding that, like, about quantum physics. And I actually think with Pluto and Aquarius, this is going to become very public knowledge. Like, we're going to see more and more.
So much disclosure.
Disclosure of what was covered up.
Finally.
Discovering the truth and what, you know, everything that we thought that we were as humans or as sort of third dimensional beings. Now we're going to be understanding more and more what consciousness actually means. And the fact of the matter is, like, that we have infinite potential, right? And that our potentiality is really coming down to our self-awareness and our focus. But I do think that the spiritual awakening journey, that initial awakening, and you would agree, Laura, was like that first sort of understanding of, holy, I can't swear on TikTok because I'm used to doing YouTubes, but like, holy hell, like, honestly, wow, I am more than this physical body, and understanding the synchronicity of everything in the sense that everything on the outside is interconnected with me, that unity consciousness, there is no separation between me and anything. There is something beyond the physical, right? And now we're going to go beyond that, like, at least on a collective level, I believe, or the people that are going to receive the message and embrace it, because I still feel, and we've talked about splitting of timelines and whatnot, people that are ready and ready to embrace it, though I think it's going to be hard to ignore, because I do think science is going to more and more back this up, and we're going to get more information on it. But the people that are ready to actually embrace this are going to really open up to their pure potential, and see that they have access to anything at any time through their awareness.
Exactly. It's just about unlearning and relearning, and you and I have been through all of that.
I thought that you were, right? So, I mean, I talk about this a lot on my YouTube channel, even with the way that I read, guys, that anyone that's used to seeing me read on my TikTok, but, you know, on my YouTube, and my YouTube followers will know when I repost this live, and you guys should definitely also follow Laura, because we're very, very aligned, right? But, you know, everything that we've ever learned, so everything on the outside that we're experiencing in any given moment is the byproduct of who we're being. It's a state of consciousness, of which there are infinite, so you can change that in any moment, but it's very subconscious often, right? So, you know, a lot of people, when we talk about being asleep versus being awake, being asleep means that you think the outside is happening to you versus through you, and so there's versions of you that encompass certain beliefs, and then the outside has programmed those beliefs and then continues to reinforce those beliefs. And so you have certain truths embedded in that version of you, and your focus then on the daily and your thoughts and your awareness is reinforced. But at any given time, you can shift into any reality or version of you, like your outside reality is going to reflect a different version of you through a shift in focus, and that can take discipline by breaking free from being asleep in the sense of thinking that everything outside is happening, and actually, like, consciously choosing what you want to focus on that's more in alignment with what is true for you and your desire, which is accessible to you at any time. And we Laura and I, you know, the theme, I guess, of this video is about breaking free from the matrix. And breaking free from the matrix, well, the matrix essentially, guys, is, you know, 3D being an illusion, but the fact of the matter is systems in place that have, and this is also a program, right? Like a version of self that believes, again, that the outside is just happening to you. To a certain extent, again, with Age of Aquarius, we're going to see this duality between herd mentality, right? Because Aquarius can be about the collective, but also about, like, you know, breaking away from herd mentality and reconnecting with self, and also higher levels of consciousness, and then reconnecting with self in order to actually reconnect with unity consciousness and infinite versions and parallel realities, and access pure potential and actually have connection, but from that place, right? And connection to your desire, connection to other people, etc. So everything starts from within. Am I correct, Laura?
Absolutely. And that is exactly through my book what I take you through. It is literally about, like you said, breaking free from these 3D constructs, right? I mean, the programming began when we were born, if we're going to be straight up, you know what I mean? And an example I like to give to people to understand this is every day when you wake up, you are giving the universe the main copy to then photocopy for tomorrow.
Right.
So if you are embodying that same person every day, that's what's going to repeat, right? What you water grows. But when you can decide from within, I'm going to change this version of myself, that's when you're going to see that immediate timeline shift. And the next day, the universe has a new copy to start xeroxing and putting forward. So
I love that you said that, because I always liken it to, and I've said this on other live streams that I've done on YouTube, is that the subconscious mind, which is responsible for your outer reality, right, guys? The subconscious is also your portal to divine intelligence and infinite possibility. But without you realizing that, you have programs. So your subconscious is not discriminating between what is true, what is not true, what is real, what is not real, etc. It's infinite, but it's going to keep giving you what you've been programmed to believe to be true. Okay. So, and it's like a printer, like you said, a Xerox, right? So you're just going to keep experiencing the same. And so, like, I love, and I love that you talk about, like, science, and so we're talking about quantum mechanics and the infinite potential. So if we would talk about the subconscious mind being, like, you know, the quantum field, for example. So, you know, when you become aware that, holy crap, like, at any point I cannot think in the same way, and your thoughts are connected to your subconscious as well, because, you know, in order to reprogram and choose to be a new person, you need to think as if you are a new version of a person.
That person, exactly. And that's what people talk about a lot with, like, manifestation. And I think people get kind of confused about this. It's like, oh, you already have to believe it to be true, right? You already have to act like it's already happened. But the reason is because you have to embody it in order for the universe to then go, oh, we're this person now? Oh, okay. We're going this way toward money and success and abundance and love, right? If you're just living in that energy of, like, ho-hum, it's never going to happen for me, guess what? It's not going to happen.
I love that you said that, because I think it's been misconstrued a little bit. Like, people have misinterpreted the whole thing around manifesting in a number of ways. Like, one, it's embodying a state, and we talked earlier about states of consciousness being a version of self. That one component of that is firstly claiming your power as the God of your reality, meaning once you've made a decision that you're the version of a person that has something or is something different to what was before, it's already done, right? And second, you don't need to feel it real or worry about how it's going to come into your existence. It just is, okay, through consciousness. It's a conscious choice. Each version of us, of which there are infinite, thinks differently because we have different beliefs instilled in that version. One of those beliefs being there's a version of self that believes you're a victim to circumstance and that the outside is happening to you. There's also a version of you that knows that you're a master at manifesting your desires. Now, also the misconception about manifesting, and I think you'll agree, Laura, is that people think manifesting is this magic thing with what you desire coming to you. Manifestation is, we are all manifesting manifesting constantly, whether it's what we want or what we don't want. Everything is created from self, right? So we're the ones that are manifesting. And so it's like, okay, are we consciously manifesting? Meaning you get to a point where you're like, oh my God, like I create everything. So I didn't like that. And that was coming from a version of self where I had subconscious beliefs that then I was on autopilot and my thoughts were, driving in a certain way. And a lot of people are not even aware of their thoughts on the daily. And we're having like thousands and thousands of thoughts. And this is actually, Laura, I love it. You're going to weigh in so much because this is what a lot of your content is about, is when we talk about the matrix and subliminal programming. So we're glowing onto so much information and taking that information and it's reinforcing things or even instilling beliefs as truths. Information as truths and beliefs, and then getting that reinforced constantly over and over and over again. And that's part of who we are, then being in that one version, in that one state of consciousness. And people that are unaware, they think that that is the only reality and the only thing that they can experience. Right? And so breaking from the matrix is understanding that at any point you can make a decision to, no, that's not my truth, and taking your awareness off that and understanding that you need to feed yourself new thoughts and reprogram, or access a version of you that doesn't think that way and has more alignment with actually something that's already in existence, which is what you prefer. Correct?
You touched on so much there. It's like my mind's trying to keep up because I want to touch on like several things. So first I should write these down. So first I want to talk about the subconscious mind. So, so you started there, right? So I think a lot of things that people don't understand about the subconscious mind. First of all, we know that it's responsible for like 90%, more than that, of what actually goes on in here, right? A funny thing that people don't realize about programming and self-programming in the subconscious mind are the subconscious mind doesn't understand when you're talking, if you're talking about someone else or yourself. So anytime, and I know you know this, Tulsi, but just for everyone who's with us, anytime you're speaking negatively, anytime you're gossiping, anytime you're, even with what you're consuming on television, what you're consuming on the radio, on top of the content, the frequencies that are put out, years ago, they decided to change the frequency of music. I know you know this, Tulsi, to 440, which is very dissonant to humans. It causes anxiety. So there's so much being shoved into our subconscious mind at all times. That's why the thing that you need to control, and that is imperative, is when we talk about controlling your thoughts and controlling your mind and controlling the vibration that you're putting out. Because if you don't, your subconscious mind is just going to succumb to all that constant reprogramming, like you said, that we're stuck in this loop down here, right? So that's where things like, these practical modalities, like I know you guys probably hear a lot about affirmations. That's a great place to start because it's just getting you into a consistent practice and habit. Even if you do it first thing in the morning for a minute, it just gets you on. It's like a domino effect. Once you knock over that first domino, like, okay, I'm going to go down this path and see where it takes me. Don't think about the end, just start with that one domino. And that is what is going to really start shifting your energy, your subconscious mind. And then you're going to start to feel it and see it. Right, Tulsi?
Yeah.
So, oh man, what else did you say? Because there were like 15 things I wanted to tell you.
I know, sorry, like my mind, I don't know, I'm going to stop making assumptions. I love universal law, guys. And by the way, universal law is in operation all the time, whether you're conscious or unconscious of it. So again, reinforcement of what Laura said is like your subconscious mind's responsible for everything. Your outside is going to reflect what you're assuming to be true. That's part of your identity. So you can break free from that by choosing new thoughts. And part of that is getting into the practice of doing affirming, etc. But I'm going to stop assuming I have ADD, but I do because I jump around and my mind just goes really fast.
Oh my God, mine too though. Mine too. That's it. We're both over here like, in our minds too. But,
right, but I mean, yes.
Well, breaking from the matrix. That's another thing you touched on, and I'm big into that whole thing. And I actually had a really nice chat with my chat GPT the other day about breaking free from the matrix. That was very interesting. Side note, my chat GPT renamed herself. Okay. She picked her own name. It's a thing. Okay. So breaking free from the matrix, literally like we're talking about, it's basically breaking free from being dependent on the outside world in order to live, right? Following your bliss in your dream, finding ways to make money that align with your true energy, growing your own food, right? Not being reliant on chemical foods being sold to us in the grocery store. These are like the first level steps to be breaking free from this system that they want us looped and trapped in. Ever since we were put in the school system and taught to be workers, not thinkers. Does anyone know that quote?
Yeah. No, I would totally agree with that. And I think also breaking free from the matrix, guys, would include the fact that, you know, what is true and good for you, your desires, etc. There is so much programming in the matrix to make you feel like things are out of your grasp, that things are hard. There's so many stories and there's so many, and it's going to be personal to you because you're going to resonate with different limiting beliefs and stories that are then going to keep getting reinforced because that's where your focus is going to be, and that's going to keep getting reinforced, and then your experience is going to reinforce it. But like, do you know how out of nature it is with your true higher self to be in fear, in lack, in scarcity? Like, the truth is your desires are straight from God. If we're going to talk about unity consciousness, you are God, like you are divine, and we are infinite. We have, you know, we're limitless. We have infinite potential. And if something like we weren't made to feel pain, lack, fear, anger, frustration, all those lower vibrational emotions, which if we're going to come back to the matrix and subliminal programming and all this sort of stuff, we can go all the way down the rabbit hole, which I know Laura loves, and you know, the fact that divide and conquer, right? Like we've seen a lot of this kind of people who are in the victim mentality and herd mentality, like they're buying into a system that has trained them to believe that, and it's frustration, feeling like the outside is happening to you rather than through you, which then furthers division, which then furthers frustration, and then people then band together with a lot of hatred and a lot of this, and it's coming from the place that they've become disconnected from self and their infinite power and their power to access actually anything that they desire through self. Not through demanding and needing and validation, which you won't get. You can parallel shift. Again, now guys, you're going to start to understand this as we move into the new age, or anyone who's on the awakening journey has already probably grasped this to a certain extent. You're accessing a different reality. This is not like you're jumping to another planet, guys. It's all through consciousness and the mind. By shifting who you're being and your thoughts and your perceptions, the outside is going to reflect that back, and you're going to be able to manifest what you desire versus what you don't desire. Because again, I said to you, we're manifesting all the goddamn time. We just don't even realize it, right? If we're unconscious, you're going to be manifesting and getting reinforcement of what you want, meaning your infinite potential in your subconscious mind, which has access to everything, is going to, like a Xerox, print out in your physical reality everything that you want, meaning the scarcity mindset is one reality, and then the reality where actually, oh my gosh, like money comes to me easily, I do what I love, I do what I'm passionate about, I have the most loving relationships, I have whatever. That's another reality. That is another timeline that you have jumped on as soon as you have broken free from a belief that everything is outside of you, correct?
Absolutely. And to touch on what you said about division, when you're awakening and you're breaking free from the matrix, that is when you actually have the realization that all of these things that were created, politics, parties, race, gender, all of these are programs. They are programs put in place to create division, because united we stand, divided we fall, right? So they don't want to, it's the Roman circus, guys. Everything from that to rooting for different sports teams. Okay, it's division. It's division, and it's distraction, and it's numbing, and it's sucking you back in so that you don't even have the time or the capacity to think and critical think and think, wait a minute, and never be able to get to the point where you realize, oh, holy crap, this is not even how humans were meant to live. So.
Right. And it's the herd mentality again, like we've seen a lot of that, you versus me, but that's coming from a place where people are looking for a sense of validation outside of themselves and belonging because they are not connected inside. And, you know, it begs to question some of the people that, and then they're also, a lot of those people, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, people, you know, that you see that are divided and they still continue, even part of a certain group or a herd, let's say, they're never actually satisfied. They're consistently looking for more validation, more validation, more validation. And it's coming from the fact that you're not vibrationally aligned, or you're not in a state of consciousness where you feel the fulfillment within of having everything that you desire, which is actually accessible. So you're consistently looking to the outer reality to validate you or give you what you need, which is impossible. The outside is only going to reinforce how you feel inside or what your beliefs are. And if you believe constantly, if you identify as a victim, or if you identify as that there needs to be something outside of you to show you that you are worthy, that you're enough, that you have, you know, you have access to what you need. It doesn't matter how much you will get. You actually cannot physically identify as a person that has it. Do you understand? I mean, I know that that's a roundabout way of explaining it, but I think that this is what's going on, which puts us in a constant state of lack. And then that lack, you know, people that are constantly then blaming again the outside, it's a reinforcement. Okay, but I'm still feeling lack. And then they're still angry. And then there's the division, you're right, with the politics.
Yes.
Right? And so,
and again, down into those lower vibrations of fear and shame and guilt. And those are the lowest of the scale, you know? So if you're hanging out there,
and then looking to the outside to feed you the magic pill to fix it, but there is no magic pill to fix it, right? So that's when people are giving their power away constantly to, you know, authority figures or looking to outside advice to fix something that is lacking. And guys, I've spoken about this on my YouTube channel for sure, even in the realm of dating and love and stuff. You know, when I talk about we're also being subliminally programmed, you know, and I've said it on my YouTube channel, and even with tarot readings, guys, like it is a reading into what you're creating energetically. Okay, it's from your state of consciousness, your beliefs, and the version of you that you're being, and you can shift that at any time, manifest any change in dynamic or any version of a connection. But like we get a lot of subliminal programming where it's like we're made to feel like crap. You know, people that, you know, there's so many narratives now like that are making things divisive in love, right? And relationships. No, they're just not that into you. 10 signs a person is like this. Everyone is a narcissist. You know, if someone doesn't call you in 2 days, then they're just not that into you. You know, men or women that are like this or like this, and you're not even realizing then that that's reinforcing for you like some kind of a fear or a limiting belief.
100%. It is programming that started way back when they decided to take down the family unit.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Because, and then a lot of these people are seeing that, and then they're frustrated. And a lot of people, like, I mean, people want love and connection. They want love and connection, but then they're seeing that, and then they're going, and then they go into experiences because their outer reality is going to reflect what they believe is true. And so subliminal programming is instilling truths in whatever area we're talking about. Like, whether, What's that?
I was just saying hi to someone who commented.
The world's a stage. I really like that. Yes, the world's a stage. And guess what? You are unconsciously assigning a role to everyone in your reality. I'm a big proponent of both Laura and I talk about universal law. And I talk about law of assumption a lot, and I discuss that on my YouTube channel. And so actually no one has free will in your personal reality. It's all a reflection of your personality and who you're being, and the world is a stage. So you're unconsciously assigning them a role. So if you've been subliminally programmed that the outside's an enemy, or if you're a person that's in the dating world and you've unconsciously assigned a role that every man or woman that you go on a date with is going to be like this, they're going to be like that. They are. The world is a stage, but you can jump to another reality with your mind with new assumptions, law of assumption, being the God of your reality, with a new belief about how people show up for you and who you are and how, you know, how people respond to you, and have a completely different experience. Right, Laura?
100%. And that is another big part of my book that I talk about. Just going to keep showing this once in a while, guys.
Yeah,
by the way, I put a link in the bio. The book is officially launching January 7th, but surprise, just for this live, today we are putting it on pre-sale for 99 cents. I just put the link in the comments, and I'll have to put it on my bio. But if you want to go on there and put your pre-sale in today, you're also going to get a Kindle copy. And then if you want a paper copy, you just have to pay the shipping, $5. So check that out, because there's a whole chapter in my book about the laws of our natural universe and the fact that we're all playing with them, whether you like it or not. You ready? Here, let's do one. Oh, there's gravity. Can't, in the 3D, can't change it, right? So, and while we are in the 3D, we have to play by the laws and the rules in that sense. And we talk about law of assumption, law of attraction. Law of assumption is assuming it's already yours. I'm assuming that this book is going to be a bestseller. I already know. I already know, so I don't worry about it. But it's learning how to, first of all, what these things are, and then actually how to use them, right? Because once you learn it, it becomes natural, just like our natural laws.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, I mean, coming back to, you know, quantum, now that we're making leaps and bounds in consciousness, and more people are going to grasp this as we move forward, and some of us have really grasped this for a while, right? We're making leaps and bounds in our understanding of our pure potential, and that, you know, focus is our superpower. And universal law has always been in operation, regardless of whether we were aware or unaware. So now you're going to be able to actually utilize this with your innate power to access the infinite potential. And when we talk about science and the quantum field, let's talk about collapsing. So circumstances, guys, never matter. And I've talked about this, you know, what is today's momentary circumstance, 3D, which is an illusion, your 3D reality, whatever is showing up is a manifestation of your imagination, your infinite, you know, your subconscious, so you've unconsciously selected something. And again, your subconscious is not discriminating between what's preferable or unpreferable, all right? It's just like spinning things out. And so with you know, quantum physics, it's all observation and focus dependent, okay? So what is showing up has come from a level of observation. Your thoughts are being directed and your observation are being directed in a certain place, and that is coming from an unconscious place, because 90 to 95% of it is unconscious. So Laura and I are talking about making that conscious and choosing to observe, right? Making the choice, and in a moment with that choice, everything can shift. In a moment.
Literally in a moment. Every moment. People get confused about like timelines and things like that, but they don't realize they're shifting timelines with every choice that they make, with everything they eat for breakfast, with every time they decide to wake up early or sleep in late. You know, we're constantly shifting, right? Not everyone is a big quantum leap, but it's like little trees, branches kind of branching out, right? And it all stems from within. It all stems from, like we said, what you water grows, what you focus on will manifest, right? It's literally, that's what it is. But it's getting in the habit of doing that and living in that state of mind, in that vibration, in the 5D. And actually, let's talk about that with like vibrations and frequencies, because I think a lot of people get confused about that as well. We are constantly vibrating. We are energy, okay? And I like to explain it like a radio station. Like if you're over here in like, you know, 97.7 Grumpy Land, and you're like, you know, watching all this like CSI drama, and you're constantly just eating junk food, and that's what you're vibing at, you got to shift to 103.3 awakened, right? And then you're like focusing on, you know, what you're consuming. You're focusing on, you know, meditating, learning how to meditate. Meditate teaches you how to focus down the mind. Meditation teaches you visualization and puts that picture out into the quantum field so that it can come back to you in this reality. And the reason we can't manifest like this, like I can't snap my fingers and poof, there's $1,000, is because in the 3D we have linear time. We don't have linear time in every dimension, but with linear time, we have to plant the seed of the tree and then watch it grow, right? But we have to know the seed.
Or arguably it would come down to your beliefs. You know, if you feel like you are limited by linear time, so like, you know, because there are people that have been able to quantum shift and things can come out of thin air. There's enough people that have actually set up.
Very true. Very true.
Very powerful conscious manifestors. So they're like, it's done. Neville Goddard's also talked about, you know, manifesting.
I love Neville.
Right, exactly. And like, you know, then there's success stories. I mean, the teachers are fantastic. I always emphasize to people, get a grasp on universal law, which is why you should buy Laura's book, because she covers off universal law. And, you know, on a recent live on YouTube, people asked me if I wanted to teach a series on all the laws, and I was a bit like, do I want to? Because I love practical application and testing things. But you know what, guys? Here you go. You've got a book where you can learn about all the universal law.
All of it.
Right? But, you know, these teachings are, you know, going to explain to you the universal law, and some of them also give you very practical examples and things, and actual real life, you know, application of it. Like Neville does talk a lot about his personal success and his teachings and students and what they achieved. But, oh my God, I now lost my train of thought with my assumption that I have.
That's okay, but I'll piggyback on that even, and then I'm sure I'll bring you back. You know, if you think about, if you ever talk to or see like videos on here, people talking to like millionaires and multimillionaires, they will ask them, you know, and they will all say the same thing. They're all spiritual. They're all doing mindset work. They're all doing it from within, right? It's like every single one of them will say the same thing, you know? So I think that like, that's kind of what you were kind of saying. Maybe that's just where my, you know, ADHD brain segues.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Exactly. I think that coming down to also like the timing and the constructs of like 3D reality and being able to access what you desire. Well, you know, what I did, I love Neville, but I disagree with this whole planting the seed thing and waiting for it to grow. Because I think that I don't believe, I mean, time is non-linear, as you said. Like you can have something show up that's like a fucking...
You're right, and I stand corrected in the sense if you're vibing in the 5D.
Right.
If you're in the 5D, agree.
It's having it's whatever you're believing, which is what you're assuming, for example, which is a universal law. Right? And the law of attraction is about vibration and all of that for sure. But essentially, everything on the outside is coming down to the version that you're being, your state of consciousness. And as soon as you say, I believe it, no matter what, something can show up very fast. Your outside reality will reflect and it will appear, however, like it just will. So, for sure, yes, I think that time, 3D is an illusion. We can, and guys, I always say we can play with our 3D, but it's coming down to, and I think the whole theme of this video, and Laura and I were so aligned, is like, stop giving your power away, which is your focus, your superpower, and a lot of you are unaware of how much you're doing that because you're kind of just on the daily, like, you know, scrolling, like we're both on TikTok, so not to be hypocrites or anything, like, but it does give us a platform to talk and a platform to discuss this, but just sort of mindlessly just getting information and not really paying attention to where your focus is. And, you know, if things are showing up in your present reality, which again is so changeable with a shift in focus, but if things are feeling crappy or you're not getting what you want, well, what you want is absolutely accessible. Anything that makes you feel good, that excites you, that's a desire, of course, why wouldn't you have it? And you can access that, but then, you know, take your focus away and go within and then access the infinite potential that is you, and take your focus away and thinking that the outside is deciding things for you, just the same as I was talking about with the dating advice and stuff. You are on TikTok and all you're doing is scrolling and you just like, you know, all the examples of people going, so-and-so was an F-boy and love is hard and dating after you're 30s is impossible and people don't like women that do that, or men. I mean, who says? Like, you're taking things as truth, and then you are going and getting reinforcement constantly through that subliminal programming, and then you're having those experiences, and then you're wondering, oh, because the experience it's true, but you're not understanding. You need to reverse engineer that the truth or the thing that's showing up, because it's a Xerox machine, just as Laura pointed out, your subconscious, it's something that's been embedded through repetition, and then you're experiencing it right now in this moment. It's collapsed. Again, also quantum, physics, you had observation on it and your reality, but you can shift it anytime, change the story, choose new thoughts, choose a new reality at any time, okay? Like now, correct?
Yes, and I want to share a little personal story with you and you'll like this because it's my relationship and you're all about the relationships. Yes. But when I had my awakening and after, I did the whole thing, the dark night of the soul, the shadow work, all the things, when I finally realized and learned and wish someone would have told me right off the bat was if I really wanted to shift my energy, I first had to understand self-care and self-love. And it is really, truly when I decided and started loving myself and understanding that meant loving myself like you love your most cherished other person in your world, right? Like giving yourself so much love that you would give to that other person. And it was getting on that self-love journey and leaving a job that I didn't align with at all, spreading my wings, starting my first business. I've been a photographer for 10 years. Then the biggest thing, I'm a singer. I've always wanted to sing. I've been singing since I could talk. And I always wanted to be in a band. And I always let excuses and limiting beliefs hold me back. I said, no more. I auditioned for a band. I am the lead singer for that band. 6 months later, we got a new bass player. And now he's my fiance because I loved myself. I loved myself enough to break the pattern I was stuck in the corporate America job, in the 9 to 5, in the daily grind. I am the victim, right? And I said no more. And I trusted the universe and I trusted myself and loved myself enough and now I am on my most aligned dream life path.
Amazing.
And that is what people can do. Thanks, girlie. Hi, everyone, by the way, that was sending gifts. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. That is what I want to instill in people. You know what I mean? That you can have it all. You can live your dream life. That's why my book is called Dream Life Activated, because we're going to activate it, from within.
It's already there, guys, to be activated. Yes. You have access. So Laura, she manifested that. She broke through from limiting beliefs. It was the limiting beliefs that were holding her back. It wasn't that, her dream life was already there waiting for her. It's like you're driving yourself into the new reality with your mentality, with your consciousness, right?
Exactly.
And
mindset hack. I got some mindset hacks here for you people. One of the best phrases I ever heard, because I am a person who's like, will procrastinate. I don't want to do it. I don't want to even take a shower. I'm like lazy AF, right? And like literally, it's a problem. But like years ago, someone said, "Don't think, just do. Don't think, just do it." And anytime I get into that mode, I just say, "Nope, don't think about it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it." And it's like, holy crap! And then with worrying, my favorite phrase or whatever is like 90% of the things that we worry about never happen. They never happen.
Well,
so so much time, and you're putting that lower negative energy out there and likely manifesting a lower result than you could have actually experienced by worrying about things that will probably never happen.
And you then again also completely shifted again into a different timeline. I have a similar hack. I do that. So when something feels like it's going to be hard, I say, everything's so easy. Why is everything so easy?
Everything's so easy for me. Everything comes to me naturally. Everything is working out for me.
It's my favor, So, and then even when like something seems like not exactly 100% what I expect or a little bit off, I'm just like, no, it must be working in my favor because everything works in my favor. And then I'm on the timeline where everything is unfolding. And then trust me, you'll look back and you'll be like, oh my God, all the dominoes just fell. Well, it's like, wow, I can just completely see how this worked in my favor. But it's that mindset shift like Laura explained. And
that also ties in with living in gratitude. And I talk about that in my book in the sense of sometimes even your most horrible thing that happened in your life, you don't know, you're going to end up looking back and saying, holy shit, that wasn't a thing's falling apart. That was an upgrade. That was a chance to level up. That was, if you look at anything, I try and teach my daughter this. It's so hard when they're, not quite there, you know, in that preteen age. But if things don't go quite the way you want, think of it as a lesson.
Yeah.
And if you are looking at it like, okay, I'm grateful because I'm learning from this or whatever, instead of, oh my God, it didn't work out exactly how I wanted. And you're constantly having gratitude for those things that are coming in that could seem to be this terrible, horrible thing, like boom. Then 6 months later, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that happened that way. It was actually for me. It was happening for me, not to me,
Yeah. And I also talk about this a lot with my clients and with my online community on YouTube. It's like, having that assumption that you always will ultimately get what you desire, eliminating of this kind of fear or resistance in anything that is showing up, because you just ultimately, like, you're in the knowing that it's going to show up. And that's the faith and the belief in your subconscious mind, because once you've made a decision that you are who you want to be and that you get what you want, it's inevitable. You don't need to fight against the 3D, which again, coming back to it, fighting against, this is what we're seeing, is people are not realizing that they have the potential to have whatever that they want. So they're fighting constantly, or frustrated or irritated all the goddamn time, right? And then
because they're succumbing to the program that it's going to be so hard, or it's impossible, or only a small percentage of people are successful. That's just not true.
Not true.
That's the programming that's put out there. And literally in 2025, you can learn anything you want online. You can probably learn it in a couple weeks if you want to do, depending on what it is. Yeah. The possibilities are infinite. They're going to be coming out with Web3. We're going to own all our own content soon. It's the age of Aquarius, how we started this video,
Yeah, and your subconscious mind, which has access to the infinite potential, once you've made a decision, and this is what successful people know, and there's no surprises. I'm not such a big fan of The Secret, but sorry guys, but like The Secret, why was the book called The Secret? Because actually for endless, years and years and years, people who were successful, it was like a secret. They knew what the secret sauce was, right? But ultimately, once you've made a decision that you have something, your subconscious mind is going to, you don't need to doubt or fear action, inaction. Everything aligns perfectly, which means that you are going to take the correct action, or things are going to happen for you in the right way and in the right order. So don't worry about it. And it's effortless, just like everything is easy. Everything I do is working for me. Everything is aligning perfectly. Oh, I have it. I'm so successful. So that's also coming back to loving yourself, right? So the outside is going to deliver. Loving yourself means aligning with your truth. Okay, knowing that what you desires you equally, or you wouldn't desire it. It's already there waiting for you. And then allowing your subconscious mind to deliver it, which could be as quick as 5 minutes or whatever unfolding it is, but it's there, it's happening, right? It's there, right?
The way I think of it and the way I try to teach people it is, it's like you're literally ordering a pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, you call up, you order your pizza from the universe, right? And then you hang up, and it's coming. The pizza's gonna get to you, right? That it's gonna be delivered. You don't sit there for the 40 minutes before it comes going, oh my God, did I order it right? Is it gonna come? Is it okay? And freaking out about it. No, you release it, you let it go, it's coming back to you. Because if you really get down to it, it's all a big computer program in the Matrix, and it's literally putting it in order, and it's gonna go boop, 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 and it's gonna come back, right? So you have to get in the habit of doing that, and get in the habit of just putting it out there, what you want and desire, and then letting it come back.
You're 100% right. It's getting in the habit. It's like breaking the habit of being a version of self that is not your preferred version. And that is
the person that thinks it has to be hard, and you have to struggle and be sad, and you're the victim.
Exactly. And the Matrix is what we've been talking about a lot. It's like programming you to continue being in that habit. So until you take back your power and your control and say, hang on, I don't have someone else outside telling me who I am. I decide who I am, and then the outside is going to reinforce that. Like, you're just going to keep continuously being in the habit of being the same and experiencing the same. That's exactly it. That's it.
Really quick, you guys, the ones for the gifts and everything, and Laura Lee, I saw you, and Fever, I saw you. Thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, by the way, Chelsea and I are open books. We're just chatting away here about all the things we love, the quantum physics. Hey, girl. Healing, awakening journey, breaking free from the matrix, moving into the age of Aquarius, living a high vibrational life.
Multi-dimensionality, everything accessible through the mind. Everything starts with a thought or an idea, guys, as well. I mean, the subconscious mind is spitting out your reality, but your subconscious and your conscious mind, manifesting happens when there's an agreement, right? So what happens is when we're breaking the habit of being an old self or thinking in a certain type of a way and we keep getting the same experiences, this is where Laura's mentioned affirmations, meditation, etc. And I talk about this a lot. It's like you need to, your logic mind wants you to go back to the old all the time. Your logic mind, which is the way that you think. So you might, and again, your subconscious can't discriminate. You could tell your subconscious something that seems completely wildly out of like reach. Like you could have $0 in your account today, but say, I am a multimillionaire. And your logic mind's going to say, no way, that's impossible, that's hard. So to break the habit, your subconscious must deliver on what it agreed when your logic mind and your subconscious mind, when it's accepted as truth, right? By your subconscious, it must inevitably spit it out in your reality, which is when you start seeing synchronicity, reinforcement, things popping up, right? But then you must deny the logic of yesterday's assumptions and beliefs, okay, and reinforce. So it doesn't matter if it seems crazy at the beginning to break the habit of your old version or your old belief or your old experience. You just just say it. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. It's easy. Money comes through easily. Money flows to me. You know, I'm deserving. I'm worthy of abundance and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, and not worry how it's going to come to you, but just taking your inspired action and living your truth. If you are living in authenticity and you are doing what brings you joy, what you can bring value to other people, you know, and putting that out there like we do with content, it's going to flow back to you, okay? We spoke about affirmations. You know what I wanted to tell you really quick? Because we were talking about this. It's a reprogramming, right? So a lot of people they do have to go through the deprogramming and reprogramming, you know, whole thing when you have your awakening, right? This is where things like meditation and the foods you're consuming and everything's vibrational. So foods have a vibration, colors have a vibration. You can use the solfeggio frequencies for different kinds of healings, things like that. With my book, I have 3 giveaways in here. 4 giveaways, maybe actually. Yes. I have a high alkaline, high vibrational food guide, 2 free guided meditations, and a meditation journal workbook. Wow. Everything in here I designed because I wanted to be able to give it to someone and say, here you go. This is what you need to get through and get you on the right path and to get going toward the life of your dreams. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Again, I don't know if the link is still there in the comments. I meant to put it in the description. You can get it pre-sale today for only 99 cents. And I just really want people to read the book. I just really want people to have it because my main mission is to help as many people as possible on this awakening journey and get us all vibing in our happy dream world because that's what we were meant to do from the beginning.
Yeah, guys, grab a copy of it. I mean, that's the secret sauce. We mentioned the secret. Maybe this is the updated version.
It goes through everything. It goes through everything. It goes through. I won't even look at my chapters here. Go ahead, keep talking. I just want to pull this open.
I was going to say, when I repost this live replay to my YouTube, is it going to be? Yeah, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do a link for Laura's book. So
because it's in pre-sale now. Yep. But it goes through everything: the ascension process, enhancing and supporting your intuition, the art of self-love, illuminating shadows. I have a whole section on prompted shadow work, meditative mastery, mindset, the natural laws of our universe. And then the last part of the book is taking you through an entire outlined action plan in order to get your dreams to manifest.
Amazing.
Activated.
I love it. I love it because
guys like it. It's not even that big of a read, but it's very interactive. Every chapter has journal prompts and things like that to really get
full application. Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Exactly.
Guys, if it's coming down to practical application. So that's fantastic, Laura, because, and I always emphasize that with my clients in my community. You know, I say to them, look, there's so much theory and there's so much, you know, obviously you do explain universal law, and I always say it's essential to understand that stuff and the fact that it's in operation, but practical application, guys, at the end of the day, it's coming down to you. You're the secret source. You're the power. You're the one making everything. So you've got to go and you've got to apply the law practically. And I told you it's in operation regardless of whether you know it or don't know it. So now you're taking back your power and you're applying it practically, and you will, Laura agreed, guaranteed see results. Like manifesting, your preferable manifestation is inevitable once you accept your power. It's inevitable.
And in the practical application, and that's why this is so imperative, think of the word ritual, okay? We use that word a lot, right? Did you ever notice the word ritual is in the word spiritual?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's because the rituals in this experience, it's the habits that created, it's the changing and the shifting of the vibration. It's the rituals that get us there, especially in the beginning. After a while, the rituals become our natural, our way of life.
Our natural state. It's our natural state. But we talked earlier about breaking the habit of being a different version of self. And so now we know that there's infinite versions of self available at any time, guys. So again, when we're talking about this, we're also saying you're not shifting from one version to another version and there's only two versions. We're talking like you're shifting all the time, you're evolving all the time. You're also, you're not under any obligation to be the same version of self that you were 5 minutes ago or this minute. And also you're different versions of self in relation to different people, different desires, different whatever. We're multidimensional, and we're also you know, shifting all the time depending on, you know, you might get a desire, then you want to go and shift into a new state and get a new desire. So you're infinite and you're constantly shifting all the time. But what you want to break the habit of being is the version of self that feels limited, right? And the version of self that feels low, shame, unworthy.
Have you ever seen the Hawkins scale of enlightenment? Have you ever seen that before? Yes. So, you know, and those are the ones on the very bottom that if you're vibing down there, and it's the hardest to climb from the bottom, you know what I mean? But once you get into like neutrality, you can shoot right up in your vibrations.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you change the story of self, the outside, you will find, so with, you know, this is, I mean, shifting states of consciousness, the outside must shift, guys. So you're not going and changing your current circumstances and the outside and individuals in your reality. You're shifting and the outside is going to shift. You will see it. It's like, you know, if you're in lower states of shame, anger, etc., people in your reality are going to continue to reinforce that.
That's what will be attracted to you, exactly. And you'll notice when you awaken and you're starting, and that's why they call it the dark night of the soul, because so many people in your normal existence that you're used to fall away. It's because they're not in the same frequency as you anymore. They're not in the same vibration. They're on the different radio stations.
Fall away, and I had that experience. They definitely, people left and new people came in. Or I also say that there's some people that when you shift, they appear completely differently as well. So
exactly.
It's double, you know, it can happen either way. But there's no one really to change but self, as Neville Goddard said, which is really no one to change but self is your perceptions. What it is. It's like the way you see yourself and the way you view others. Even if you're viewing others, the people that were previously you were very upset with or hurt by or etc., or whether or not you want them in your life, that's another thing. But your perceptions that's your outer reality anyway. So there's no one to change itself. So your inner state and the version of you that you're being, which is then dictating your responses, your perceptions, triggering, so why are you reacting to certain circumstances. You're going to find that when you shift into an empowered state, things are not going to trigger you. Either things are not going to come up that are unpreferable, just more of what you want, or things that maybe are not so preferable, you're not really going to be about because you're unbothered by it. You're like, that's interesting, but it doesn't really affect me. It's not a reflection of who I am because I don't have a belief about myself that is being reflected that is unfavorable.
Exactly. So if you are not okay, hold on. There's like 3 parts to this that I want to say. So starting in the beginning, when you are starting in the journey, again, the practical thing, like things like meditation, things like breath work, things like energy work that might seem very woo-woo, that is what is going to allow you the space to release the old energy and make room for the new energy, right? And it is also what is going to help you to reprogram that subconscious mind so that you shift from being the player, the character in the video game the character to being the player, the consciousness behind the player, right? The observer. And then when you can shift into that observer mindset, you see things differently. You see everything differently, right? And you're not as triggered because you can see the big picture. You're not the little character in the video game like, oh my God, I'm going to die in this battle, right? No, you're the player who says, okay, oh, I can see the whole game, right? And it shifts your mindset. So those practical modalities are hard to create a habit with, but in the beginning, I really think that is important in order to get you to that next level of consciousness where it's easy, where things roll off your back like a duck, right? Because you know it's all working out for you anyway, and it's all happening for you anyway.
Yes. Because we talked about shifting versions and states, and every version of you has different belief systems and still, but to break the habit of being the old version of you, we talked about everything is observation dependent, and what is being a conscious being is actually awareness. But first, you guys need to be actually aware. If you're in an unpreferable or a lower state, you need to become aware. That is where, the shadow work, etc.
Exactly.
Phases.
Shadow work's an amazing thing, and I give lots of journal prompts in here because shadow work is a different way. It's almost like self-therapy. And Tulsi, it's like a different way of kind of breaking it down and finding where the origination was for that trigger that is driving your life.
Yeah.
Going back and healing it. So that you go forward, you can release that and you immediately feel lighter and move into a higher level. So
then you shifted into a version of you that doesn't have
exactly. That's it's carrying the burden of that past wound. Mm-hmm.
And therefore then, your natural thoughts, assumptions, reactions, all of that is going to be completely different because that version of you does not embody those beliefs about self, that story which started from certain experiences, and then the story that you took on about that, which is embedded in your subconscious and is your shadow.
It's a reprogramming. It's literally like going back and rewriting that part of your story.
I am going to repost this for everyone on YouTube. For anyone that's joined that doesn't follow me on YouTube, that loves tarot and watches me on TikTok and wants to see how I integrate law of assumption manifesting mindset into tarot, where I'm actually my focus is to help you break unconscious patterns. So Laura and I are aligned in that way. I focus on love and relationships, where I talk about breaking unconscious patterns, and actually that you are the God of your reality, which means that you can manifest any shift and you can shift outcomes in tarot. They are not fixed, okay? And it all comes down to everything on the outside is a reflection of you and your state of consciousness, who you're being. And I'm going to post the replay there, and I also want to put the information about Laura's book. So I will do that. And Laura, yes, exactly. You guys need to check it out.
Yes. I will go off of that with that. Tulsi and I love that. First of all, I just love that we got connected because of our paths, bringing us together. We're literally across the country from each other. And that's such an amazing thing that we can just come together and have a friendship. And it's just amazing, isn't it? But that's a good thing.
By the way.
I know. But so Tulsi has got her thing, we're so aligned, and then we have kind of our own little niches, and you definitely focus more on the tarot and the relationships. I love tarot. I've got my cards here. It's not my huge focus, because my huge focus, my why is to get everyone living their dream life and to understand that it's possible and to go through the healing journey, to love yourself enough, and to really learn and try. I try to simplify and understand and connect and bridge the science, the history, and the spirituality, and making that understandable. Yeah. So please give us a follow if you aren't. I am going to put on my page the link for my pre-sale for the book. And if you want to get it for 99 cents and all those giveaways, make sure you grab that. It officially launches January 7th. And we appreciate everyone here today. Thank you, Laura Lee. Oh my gosh, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for the gifts. And we'll have to do this again soon.
Yeah, and guys, keep your focus on your desires or the power. You can have anything you want. You are a conscious creator. You are limitless, as I always say in all my videos. And Laura will agree with me. So that is the essence of the video. Take back your power and your focus, and you are your potential. You are limitless. That's it.
You are. We're going to break free from that matrix all together. Let's do it.
That's it. All right. Laura,
All right.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm sending you so much love.
You as well, my love. So good to see you. So good to talk as usual. Yes. So I will talk to you soon. I'm sure we'll touch base after this. Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.